During many days of July, lifeguards, after they're done protecting you, head out to the sea for a competition of their own. Lifeguard races are very unique here to South Jersey, and in this episode of On the Road, we're talking about how different lifeguards prefer different kind of water conditions, why they do, and we're going to go down to Cape May to learn all about it. We are here with Captain Jeff Reif of Cape May Beach Patrol. We're talking all about lifeguard races here. Now, Jeff has been in a couple of lifeguard races in your time, right?
Pretty many, yes.
Could you give us an estimate?
I couldn't even give you an estimate because I was our swimmer for a while. I've done the super athlon, the around the island row, the 6-miler. So I wouldn't even want to guess at how many, but quite a few. Okay,
so I think you're the perfect person to ask these kind of questions then. So what we want to talk about is different lifeguards prefer different kind of conditions when they're rowing. Different kind of water conditions based on their body build. So we have heard that some smaller people like the rougher waves and vice versa. Could you attest to that and just give us an example of maybe some people that you know of that prefer different kind of waves when they're doing the rowing part of these lifeguard races?
Sure, no problem. Basically, the guys and girls on the Jersey Shore that are rowers in the Vandyne surf boats, the people that row crew in the wintertime tend to like it flatter because they're used to rowing on a river and used to using the ergometer as their main method of cardiovascular training. The guys and girls that like the rougher water are the lifeguards that were either local or learned how to row in the Vandyne, and it becomes more of an experience thing where they'd like the conditions to be more challenging so that they can use their experience to their advantage.
My sister Lena and I are rowing for the Brigantine doubles today, and today it's not a rough ocean, so we'll get through the surf pretty fast, hopefully have a good turn.
And the rowing conditions I find most favorable for myself are usually, I like flat conditions with clean waves, something really good to ride in on, but something that won't crash into my boat and make it harder to row.
Now you say the Vandyne, you brought it up a couple of times. Would that change if you had a different kind of boat?
The Vandyne is specifically geared to South Jersey because of the way that our swells and wind are down in this geographical area, that the bow's shaped the way it is to physically go through the waves, and then in the stern plate here, if we need to bring in a victim, that they can sit there, or if we have to do CPR or rescue breathing, we can put the victim in the appropriate manner. So these boats are specifically designed for the Jersey Shore and what uses that we need them for here.
Gotcha. You mentioned wind before, and kind of the same question I had originally, just with the wind. Are different kind of competitors preferring different kinds of winds, or is everyone kind of all liking the same thing?
Again, I think most of the wind is contingent upon what way it blows. If we have a northwest wind down here, it tends to make it flatter, so the guys and girls who are used to rowing in the cruise shell, they probably like that, where the guys and girls who learn to row a Vandyne and don't have too much crew experience prefer more of a south wind directly into their face because it takes a little bit more experience and strength, and it's a bit more challenging to row in those specific winds.
The conditions that I find are great for me. Me and my twin sister are not the quintessential rowers. We're not tall and like super built, but we love the rough waters because even the short girls out there, if you got experience, you can maneuver those waves in the way that sometimes that brute strength,
It's probably the best water conditions are flat with a little bit of rollers.
Got it. Now, you have loads of experience. You just said that before. What are your favorite conditions to row in?
My favorite conditions are pretty choppy with some stronger winds because I learned how to row in a Vandyne, and therefore I feel much more comfortable in more challenging conditions. So I'd prefer some winds and some chop. That would help my partner and I a lot.
Okay, make it a little exciting. And, this summer we've been doing pretty good with our weather as we're going forward here. Or just kind of tell me a story. Do you have any particular stories during your lifeguard races that were maybe a little noteworthy, maybe made you a little nervous, or that you really enjoyed?
Well, I guess the most noteworthy aspect was years ago when I was a swimmer and I was doing open water swimming. I believe that most of the races that I did the best in and had the most success were when it was very, very choppy, because that kind of separates the people that are used to swimming in a pool versus the people that have more experience in the ocean and can handle those type of situations.
Are you saying separating the men from the boys?
Well, I'd rather look at it in the fact of separating the pool swimmers from more the pure open water swimmers that are more used to some chop and some challenges.
Got it. Just trying to make a joke. Jeff, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Welcome, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care.